My name is Courtney Kirk, and I will be giving a presentation over Subway and some new menu items I feel they could add on to help boost their profits. So just introducing the item first, basically what we have here is actually two different items. We have a fruit cup just to be added on as a healthier side item. I'm looking at this to be as more of a permanent menu item opposed to our limited time offer specialty desserts. This would be many things. It could be a piece of chocolate cake, it could be cupcakes, it could be just kind of fancier cookies than what they sell now, but it just would be for limited time offer. So here's just some visuals of what I'm thinking of. They are both pre-packaged, as you can tell. I think this would propose many different benefits, one of which being storage. It would be easier to bring these into the store, put them in the back, transportation, easier to get them from back of house to front of house, easy to store in the low boys under the sandwich prep station. Just a lot of good benefits there. Also convenience for the consumer, instead of having to, maybe deal with just a piece of chocolate cake that's been put almost on a plate and given to you. You're just able to take it and go. So just a really good convenience factor there. So I wanted to kind of dive into some research. I've done just some consumer research as we're trying to pick what target markets to dive into and just where this marketing plan and strategy is going to go. So the first thing I wanted to do was just kind of look up where is Subway at currently on some sales figures. So sides account for 7% of total revenues, desserts account for 21%. To be fair, desserts and drinks are combined into the same category, but for the purposes of this presentation, we're just going to go with desserts are 21%. Moving on, we have our consumer segments. I also wanted to do some research into this just to see where Subway's at right now so that we can keep targeting those same markets, but also look at where we could expand. So right now, Subway is mainly focused on the health conscious, the families, and busy students. Students is more specific, just kind of busier people in general that are looking for a quick meal option. Sorry about that. So the health conscious, those just want to eat healthier, those that maybe have a weight goal they're trying to eat more low calorie. Maybe there's some health concerns, they need to eat a little more heart healthy. Subway is a great fast option for people like that. Families, especially those with younger kids that maybe want to incorporate those healthier foods into their children's diet. Subway again is going to be a quick option. It's also very customizable. You can really personalize what you get there. You get to build it from the ground up essentially. So that's great if you have kids that are a little bit pickier. And then again, just those busy students that are looking for that quick option. And something I really liked about these segments was they can kind of blend into one another, which I think will really benefit Subway as they're trying to target and as they're looking at their different marketing strategies. So why does this matter for marketing? What does this do for the marketing process? Well, first, it helps to target markets more specifically. You're able to really narrow down who you want to target to. For example, if you're wanting to target students, that younger generation, you could market the specialty desserts as a sweet treat. That's something that's very popular in my generation and down, is going to get a sweet treat with your friends. So it could make Subway very relatable there. Also, the convenience of pre-packaging to those that have a busier lifestyle, like I mentioned before, could be great. Another example, you could promote fruit cups to those that are more health conscious, and again, just those families that are trying to eat healthier, teach their kids good eating habits. Then channel selection. This is, again, just kind of focusing on those family students and health conscious students when you're looking at different channels on how to target. Just again, looking at kind of my generation and down, Generation Z and down. Instagram and TikTok are going to be really big, just those social medias. Families, Facebook, different streaming services, radio, just to target that group. And then the health conscious, I thought a kind of specific segment for this would be influencers on social media platforms. I know for myself and many of my friends that just like to be conscious of what we're eating to try to keep ourselves in shape. I know that I follow a few fitness influencers on Instagram and see what they're eating and what they're doing for their daily routine. So having that channel selection is very important. And then fulfilling consumer needs, for example, offering a faster service for those who are busy and on the go, and maybe focusing on highlighting the low-calorie option of the fruit cup opposed to a bag of chips for those that are focusing on their health. It just really shows that Subway is focused on those consumer needs, which is very important when you're talking about marketing. So why don't you want to target everyone? We have those specific segments we just talked about, but why focus on them instead of everyone? Well, several different reasons. First, there might just be a dislike for the product. Sorry about that. Moved away. So, dislike for the product. You might not like sandwiches in general. Maybe you just don't like Subway sandwiches. Some people might think it's a waste of money. Some people can't justify spending that much money on something that they could make at home themselves. They could probably buy the ingredients a lot cheaper at the store, make it at home, so they might consider it a waste of money. It might not be convenient. If you kind of live in the middle of nowhere, it might not be convenient for you to get to a Subway restaurant. It might not even be possible for you, really. So just that mobility and geographic factor. If you have food allergies, especially if they're really severe, you might not look at Subway as a viable option because it could just simply be dangerous for you to eat there. Then we have here a bad tie to it. I think a very famous example here is the Jared incident. That was just very unfortunate for Subway, and a lot of people still to this day tie Subway to Jared, and that just kind of leaves a bad taste in the mouth. And then lastly, if you have a bad run-in, maybe you got food poisoning there, or maybe just the quality wasn't that great that day at that particular Subway, so you're just left again just with a bad taste in your mouth, but from experiencing it instead of just associating something with it. So those are just a few examples of why it's really kind of impossible to target everyone, and why it's more efficient to target markets that you know are going to respond to you appropriately. So now focusing on the IMC, the Integrated Marketing Communication. First, I would recommend Subway really focus on cohesion across all channels, just making their ads, whether you're running it on streaming, radio, print, social media, that it's all cohesive, it's all promoting the same thing at the same price. Maybe it has a similar look as well, so that you can easily recognize it and you know it's Subway. I think Apple does a really good job with this. When you see an Apple ad, it's very clean, very modern, very sleek, and I think Subway could accomplish that same thing in their own way. And then consumer focused, this is just going to help to do a lot of things. It's going to help to build trust. It's going to acknowledge that Subway is paying attention to what the consumer wants or needs and is striving to fulfill those, and that can go a really long way in the mind of the consumer. Customer feedback, I think this is really important, and I think it's an area Subway could improve in, especially looking at adding on 2 new products. They're going to want to make sure that consumers have easy access to give feedback on this, whether it's good or bad, so that Subway can adjust and learn and grow, and just again target those needs and wants even better. And then lastly, and what I want to dive into a little bit more, is the use of those multiple channels that we've kind of been talking about. First is social media. Again, just TikTok, Instagram. I really think Subway could have a bigger presence on social media than it does currently. I think it could appeal to a younger audience, a younger generation, depending on the social media used. For example, Facebook. I know plenty of people in my generation are still on Facebook, but it is aging out a little bit and is progressing towards being used by a bit of an older generation. And I think this would be a really good place to target parents. Even parents of young kids that just want to make sure, again, that their kids are on that right path and are learning good eating habits. Using social medias could be good for that. Instagram, I know we've talked about influencers a little bit. Influencers have a huge presence on Instagram. It could really reach that health conscious group in that younger kind of student category. I would recommend Subway stays focused in those two the most, but I do think there's still potential for them on TikTok. Subway's done a really good job with incorporating humor into their ads, and I think that they could really excel with this with TikTok and appeal to really a much younger generation. But just start getting that brand recognition from that younger generation, putting that humor in there and making themselves a relatable company. Next is print advertising. Whether that's flyers, direct mail. Subway has a lot of potential here. I know that I have received coupons in the mail from Subway. I've received promotional material, small flyers my family has that's addressed to our family, and it's kind of cool, especially if you are a family with younger kids, for the kids to see that. It's just very appealing. Flyers, even bigger ones, or posters that they can hang outside of Subway stores. My dad, he owns a couple Subway franchises, and they always have just the coolest wraps on their windows or really intriguing posters that they're able to hang up to just kind of draw that consumer attention. So I think that Subway could benefit a lot from print advertising. Moving on, we have sales promotions. So this is kind of what I was getting into with coupons, loyalty programs, rewards. As I was saying, we've received several coupons in the mail from Subway, which is kind of ironic since my dad owns them, but we still get them and they're great. We use them. It's a good way to start that trial initiative with consumers and just get them to try the product, and we'll kind of dive into that a little bit later on. Looking at loyalty programs, Subway has an existing app, and in that you can sign up, make an account, and you can earn rewards, or earn points, earn points every time you order, either in the app or in store if you scan your app, and then you can earn points towards rewards. It could be free items or discounted items, which is really cool, and it's definitely something that's almost a necessity these days to just keep up with the market and that growing trend in technology. And then looking specifically at rewards, yes, you could get rewards by earning points, but I think it could also be really cool if Subway incorporated something like you download the app and you have a reward there waiting for you because you downloaded the app. That again just could provide another incentive to go to Subway and eat at Subway. So next we have just general advertising. I put streaming and radio. I really think Subway could benefit from specifically advertising on streaming services as opposed to TV. Obviously, TV advertising has incredible benefits, and yes, Subway still does it, and yes, they could still benefit from it. But for these particular products, I wanted to focus on the streaming aspect. And then radio as well. Something I thought was really cool, just doing some research, was you can almost take the voiceover from a TV commercial and just broadcast that on air, and you get your radio advertisement. So that's kind of a cost-effective way that Subway could tackle advertising. So we've talked about all these different methods of advertising. What's the role of that? Why is that important, particularly when we're looking at brand personality? So it's important for several reasons, and it does several different things. First of all, it creates energy. It kind of creates a vibe for the company, if you will. The colors that are used, the sounds, audio, the fonts, the tone of voice, this all converges to make a certain energy and create a certain feel for the brand. Next, it can build trust. Is the brand using credible sources for their endorsements? Are their taglines appropriate? For example, Subway, eat fresh. Are the ingredients fresh? Is that kind of false advertising, or is the brand staying true to what they stand for? So just building trust in those sorts of ways. And then engagement, just essentially, is the ad appealing? Is it grabbing attention? And is it holding that attention? That's a really critical factor. I feel a lot of times things can start off really strong and people get really excited about it, but then you don't hold that attention, and so it doesn't lead to that end result and that action step that you want. So that's going to bring us to our celebrity endorser, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Now, I know that Dwayne is used in a lot of different advertisement campaigns. He is a very popular celebrity endorser and is sought after by a lot of companies. So there is kind of that concern of just getting endorser fatigue. However, I think he's still a great choice for Subway. I think that there's just a lot he could bring to the brand. First of all, he's extremely fit, he's very healthy, and he's known for that. Subway's known for that, so that's a really good natural fit right there. He's well known and well loved, and this also kind of ties into reaching a large audience. He's recognized by young fans, by older fans, for his work on both Disney movies and his work in wrestling. So he just has a broad reach and is very recognizable. He has an incredible sense of humor. He's a really funny guy. And since Subway leans towards more of that sense of humor in their advertising, again, that's just a natural fit. And he's also seen as trustworthy. He, again, is just a likable guy. People have known him for years. He's earned that trustworthiness. He's very credible, just again, by being very healthy. He's a great endorser. So those are just some aspects to kind of look for, is that credibility, trustworthiness. I would consider him an expert on how to eat right and eat healthy to maintain that sort of lifestyle. So just looking for those characteristics, I think, make him a great choice for an endorser. So that leads us to our storyboard here that I've drawn up. I'm so sorry if it's a little bit hard to read. I'll read it out to you. But this is an advertisement I made trying to use some sort of humor appeal to keep in line with the just brand image Subway currently has, and it uses Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to use that endorser. So we start out here with a shot of a dad doing laundry in the living room. He's just sitting on the couch. And then we zoom into him a little bit more, and we see him looking a little bit torn, maybe a little bit confused. And we have a voiceover with his internal thoughts, and he's basically saying, man, I need to eat healthy, but it is the holiday season. And so that's where the tornness is coming from. He wants the best of both worlds, healthy, but it's also the holiday. So he wants to, be able to cheat a little bit. And so he's just saying, like, ugh, I hate to have to choose. We see Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson walk just into the room. He's in this guy's house just to kind of get that humor and shock factor. So we see him walk in. He's holding in one hand the fruit cup, in one hand a slice of cake to represent both new product items. And he's saying, just go to Subway and you don't have to choose. And then we jump back to the dad down here, looking very startled, but also amazed at the same time, just again to add to that humor. And he's saying, are you Dwayne Johnson? And then we go back to Dwayne Johnson saying, yes I am. And then we kind of cut to a promotional screen showing the two new products together, and have another voiceover saying, come boost your energy with Subway, with our new side of fruit, and enjoy our limited time offers, specialty dessert, and then conclude with Subway Eat Fresh. So this ties in nicely to PR opportunities. If Dwayne Johnson was used in a Subway ad, that would give Subway so much free publicity. I feel like whenever big names like that are used in advertising, there's always some sort of buzz around them, and I foresee that being true with Dwayne Johnson and Subway. I think that that would just create a lot of talk around the brand and draw a lot of attention to it. And then I think Subway could also benefit for something seasonal, like Christmas. It's kind of the giving season, and so promoting something like this percentage of every purchase of a specialty dessert will go to, and then pick a charity or organization or nonprofit of your choosing that has to do with kids, animals, or the environment, and that's going to draw a lot of attention, get them a lot of good free publicity, and just really add to that PR factor. All right, so next we have consumer promotion, and just how that kind of can add to the trial and engagement and garnering attention. So first, I'll move my mouse out of the way. First, we have coupons. I'm going to kind of dive into each one of these separately. So coupons, you're basically getting your consumer to try your product at an extremely discounted price or for free. And we kind of talked about this earlier, but just getting that deal, it's going to entice you to go there, especially if maybe your family isn't extremely affluent. this could provide a really great option to get a good meal and get a healthy meal for a really good price. So that's going to get people in the door if coupons are mailed out. Next, we have points. Excuse me. So points, just really talking about the app here. You go in, you order, you scan your app, you get your points. Why is that going to draw people attention? Why is that going to draw you in? Well, having that incentive of getting free food or getting discounted food, opposed to a restaurant where you can go and you can go there every day and buy as much as you want. But if they don't have a points program, a loyalty program, that could really cut down on their attractiveness, opposed to a brand like Subway where you can't earn those points. So just having that incentive is another great way to get people in that trial process. And then lastly, rewards. Again, just having that incentive. If you download the app, you'll have a reward waiting for you just because you downloaded the app. Another way I thought would be really cool to incorporate rewards, I work for Chick-fil-A, and about once every 2 months I'll open my app and I just have a free chicken biscuit or a free medium fry or a free medium drink, and it's just on the house just because there's no real reason for it. But as a consumer, I really appreciate that, especially as a student, someone that doesn't have, the most money in the world right now, being a college student. That's really nice just to get a free reward. So that could be an incentive for people to be more involved in Subway, because in order to get that reward, you'd have to have the app and probably be a pretty frequent buyer and consumer of Subway. So we have this great structure set up. We have these great marketing plans set out. What sort of structure are we going to use to kind of harness all that and guide all that? Well, Subway's already a franchise. No need to rock the boat just for adding in a couple of new side items. So just kind of explaining what the franchise is. You have the franchise headquarters, known as the franchisor, and then that drops down. If you want to be a part of that and you want to own a Subway store, you would go apply, interview, and if they deem you worthy, for lack of a better term, you get to own a Subway store. So you're basically the franchisee at that point, and you own the store. And then we get down to the customer level here, and the customers visit those franchisees, buy from there, and a portion of the sales goes back to headquarters. Why a franchise? Besides the fact that they are one already, really for the franchisee. I know I have personal experience with my dad owning a Subway and being a Subway franchisee. There have been several promotions that he has not participated in because they wouldn't have benefited his stores and his locations, and that's helped save him money, our family money. It's allowed him to have that sense of independence and have that sense of doing what's best for him and our family by opting out of those. Next, we have distribution. There's less waste of product if Subway knows, hey, these stores aren't going to participate in this. They're not going to waste time and money transporting that to you. Not only is it food cost, it is that transportation cost, it's added labor cost, and so getting to cut down on that just helps the Subway brand overall. And then marketing, again, just that time and money wastage. If you have a whole section of the country or of a state or of a city that they are not going to participate in this promotion, you could really save money there and cut back on just marketing costs there where there is little interest and you're not going to excel. And all this is with the understanding that the fruit cup would be added everywhere as a side. It's really for the limited time offer dessert that is more of a specialty item, and just again having that personal experience. I know that's something that not all stores would feel that they want to participate in because it just might not sell well in all locations. Opposed to the fruit cup, adding that on is just a Subway staple. That's a little more important, that there's full participation throughout the country on that. So top competitors for Subway, we're going to have Jersey Mike's, Jimmy John's, and Panera. All of these guys have a very similar story to Subway. You can go in, buy your sandwich, buy your chips. Excuse me, so sorry. So they're going to be very competitive. Breaking those down, I just looked at some different stats just to kind of help give a better comparison here. So Subway, it'll stay the same on every slide here. They have a 22% share. Jersey Mike's is only sitting at 13. They both have one side option, 3 dessert options, and then the average sub price is actually higher at Jersey Mike's, which kind of surprised me. Excuse me, I'm going to grab a sip of water real quick so I don't keep coughing on you. All right. But yeah, that kind of surprised me. I don't eat at Jersey Mike's frequently, but looking just at their market share first in my order of research, I would have, I don't know, expected them to almost have a lower price. I'm not sure why, but that was kind of interesting to me. So clearly Jersey Mike's has a lot of market share room to make up before they catch up with Subway, but since they are so similar, I can definitely see those kind of just merging and kind of that market share being pulled between the two. Next we have Jimmy John's. They have an even lower market share at 9%. However, they have a lot more side options, not quite as many dessert options, but they're cheaper. I know in today's economy, cheaper is definitely looked at as the better way to go. So Subway just needs to kind of watch out maybe a little bit with their prices and make sure they're not pricing themselves out of the market on certain things. This is another reason I wanted to bring in a side option, is because many sandwich shops do have more opportunities for sides than just chips, which is pretty much all Subway has. And then lastly, looking at Panera, their market share is more than Subway. Granted, this wouldn't be a direct competitor since they are a little bit different. They do both mainly sell sandwiches. I do know Panera obviously has a more expanded menu compared to Subway, but still in that same realm. They have a lot more side options, the same amount of dessert options, which is kind of surprising to me. However, when I'm breaking this down, I was basically doing it by dessert type. So even if you have 5 different kinds of cookies, I just counted it as cookies. So if you broke this out more, I'm sure they would have more dessert options like in that way. And then average sub price, this one really shocked me that it was lower than Subway. I think of Panera as a higher class sub shop. So for their average sub price to be between 8 and 11 opposed to 10 and 11 was kind of surprising to me, but again just shows the strengths of Panera and how you can buy cheaper options there, which is typically what people go to Subway for. So just watching out there again with their pricing and making sure that they're not stepping outside of really what they're capable of keeping up with. All right, moving on to the website. This was a lot of fun just to play around with. And so some certain goals of the website. What should a website do, particularly looking at the homepage, because that's the first thing you see when you go to a company's website. The main goal we have here is promote. If you have a website, it should be promoting showcasing the items that are promoted. If you take clothing, for example, if you have a shirt that's being advertised to you time and time again, and you finally go to that company's website and you can't find the shirt, that's going to be a bad post-purchase process for the consumer, or not even post-purchase at that point, just a bad experience because you're not able to find the product that you want. So just really making sure that these new items are showcased on the front page of the company's website. Also wanting to focus on key features, again, just to keep that cohesion between all different channels, including the company website. We just want to make sure that the same characteristics are being promoted, the nutritional aspect of the fruit cup, along with that limited time offer incentive of the specialty dessert items. Limited time offers, I kind of incorporated that in the key features, but just continuing to promote that, the timeliness of it. It is going away soon, you should get it now, kind of putting a little bit of that pressure on the consumer to just go ahead and purchase the item. And then again, rewards and points. I think it would be incredible if Subway advertised their app a little bit more on their homepage or just on their website in general to make people aware that that is something that they have and that's something you can get rewards in and earn points towards free food. Next, we have a little demo of what the home site could look like. So up here we have satisfy your cravings when and where you want. We have that limited time offer and new side displayed right there. We have pictures of potentially what it could look like. Dessert over here with the chocolate cake slice, and then the fruit cup right here. We have keep it fresh, assorted new fruit, finish off your meal with a delicious slice of chocolate cake. So just, again, making sure those key attributes are there and promoted on the company website. Really critical, really important. All right, cross-channel marketing plan. This again was just a really fun aspect to dive into, and I have it broken out pretty good here. So I just want to dive right into, sorry, my mouse is not working. So the social media. Social media is really going to help, again, just reach that younger demographic. I know we've kind of already talked about these a little bit in this presentation, so I don't want to harp too much on it once again. But just reaching that younger demographic, reaching families, the health conscious, and then, as I said earlier, mainly focusing on those Facebook and Instagram ads, kind of taking TikTok just a step back a little bit and making sure that we're really secure here first in order to reach those following influencers, those with kids that want to promote those good eating habits. Next was streaming. Looking particularly at these four here, Disney Plus, Hulu, Amazon Prime, and Peacock. I chose these for Subway because I believe that they have a lot of family-friendly content on them, and since families are a main consumer segment for Subway, it makes the most sense to target here. So spending money here, I believe, would be of huge benefit and really draw in a lot of traffic for these new items being added on. Print, flyers, and direct mail. Again, those flyers are going to draw the eye. They're going to make people aware of what Subway's offering. We can take flyers and think of posters that are hung outside of stores. We can think of flyers as direct mail pieces that are being sent to the house. Direct mail could also incorporate kind of on that flyer that's addressed to a specific person. At the bottom of it, you could have that coupon on there. So really pouring resources, time, money into these pieces for a company and a brand like Subway that is known to have kind of a financially cheaper option could be really great because that's appealing to a characteristic that consumer segments really want. So here's some examples of what those could look like. Here is a print ad. Saw the chocolate cake, well, saw both of these on the website example. Chocolate cake here, we have a flyer that is being hung on a window. This is an example of what it could look like actually at a Subway location. I love this. I think it's really, really cool and really draws the eye, makes you aware of what's going on inside the store, and could draw people in that are driving by or walking by and want to try it out. And then for social platforms, we have new side written. This ad is made for Instagram for a story that you could click through. It's bright, it's colorful, it draws your eye immediately, and then almost secondary draws your eye to the Subway logo, which I don't think is a bad thing, because it kind of makes you search for it in a way, and then once you see it, it's like, oh, I didn't know Subway did fruit, and it just, that moment of trying to figure it out, I think can stick in the mind a little bit better than if you're just clicking through and immediately recognize something. So this is going to bring us to our marketing budget. I did a little bit of research, and Subway's budget is typically around $350 million annually. So how did I get to $98 million? I took the figures from earlier, just looking at research, the 7% of sales coming from sides and the 21% coming from desserts. Added that together, you get 28%. 28% of 350 million is 98 million. So I would consider this to be an appropriate allocation of the budget to focusing on these items. and making sure that they're promoted very well to give them their best chance of success. And so kind of breaking that down a little bit, I know I didn't get too super detailed with numbers, but I do feel as though this is a really good base to start off with. Starting with streaming, getting the most of the money. This is really because the product that's produced to put on streaming platforms is so versatile. You could take clips of it and put it on social media. You could put it on YouTube. It can be used in streaming. It can be used in TV. You can take the audio from it and make it a radio commercial or a radio advertisement. And so that versatility to me makes it the most worthy of pouring the most time and money into. Next would be print advertising. Again, as I've talked about, getting those coupons out, getting that direct mail out, putting those flyers up. Subway's had huge success with that, and so I think keeping that up for these items, they would see very similar results. And then lastly, with social media, while this deserves, I feel, a fair allocation of the budget, I think of the three types of advertisement I'm focusing on here, Subway's just going to benefit more from the other two. So when you're going to benefit more from the other two, you're going to pour a little bit less into the social media. However, as I've said and made a case for, I do think there's a lot of areas for growth for Subway when they look at their socials, and I'm excited to see what they could do with that and what their digital ads could look like for these new products. So that's going to bring us to the end of this presentation. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a really fun project to work on. And yeah, it was just a great time. Thank you so much.